Hi, I'm Saverio from HoRNet Plugins, and today we are here because I want to show you our latest plugin, the HoRNet SyncPressor, that is an audio compressor that has some peculiar features, like the ability to be synced with your DAW tempo and also to auto-detect the tempo of the audio. This is very important because it can set the attack and release time accordingly to the track tempo, and this gives you the ability to have it sound much more musically than the other compressors, and you don't have to guess the right time because you can use familiar musical time division to set attack and release. In fact, you can set the attack and release from one full measure to 100 to 512 of a measure, and it's very fast. And this allows you to have the compressor work together with your track, especially very rhythmic tracks, and so it can help the track to have a more dynamic sound and make the rhythm more pronounced of the track and help it to groove more. So without further talking, I'll dig into the guy and show you each of the elements of the compressor and each of the feature. Let's start saying that this compressor has been designed together with Antonio Porcelli, that is an Italian sound engineer, mainly known for his work with Caparezza, and he decided to contact us to design this compressor he had in mind for some time, because he wanted something to put on the master bus that was enhancing the rhythmic character of the tracks. So we decided to create a digital compressor. There is no analog emulation here because you can always add some analog grit if you want, but this compressor is very versatile, and it can work like a smooth compressor or an aggressive compressor if you prefer. On the leftmost side we find the input view meters and the input knob, of course. Then we have the main controls for the compressor and the output area with the output view meters and the output knob. You have the standard threshold, ratio, gain reduction meter, and these are the peculiar attack and release set to work as a musical time division. And of course, here are the milliseconds calculated for the amount you choose here. If you, for example, choose 1/16, you get 107 milliseconds because we have a tempo set at 140, because the track I have here for demo is 140 BPM. I know that because it's a track I have produced a long time ago, and this is the tempo of the track. But if I didn't know the tempo, I could have set to detect, and automatically the plugin would have detected the tempo of the track. And then you also have a manual mode where you can actually input the value you want, and while this changes, this other over here changes accordingly. I have it to sync because this way I will have the right tempo. Then I have a knee selection that allow me to have a very hard compressor or a very soft compressor. The knee is the area around the threshold. So if you have it to 0, you have a very sharp transition from uncompressed to compressed. If you have it to 1, you have a very smooth curve, and the compressor starts acting a little bit before the threshold, and it takes a little while before getting to the full ratio you have specified over here. It's a very smooth curve of the compressor when you set it to 1. By default, it's set to 0.5. That is a good compromise, and provides you a smooth sound without having a sharp transition or a too soft one. Then you can choose to have the HoRNet detection using just the average power of the sound to actually compress it and drive the gain reduction unit. If this is off, you will have every peak that makes the compressor react, while if it's on, it will react only to the average level. So it's a smoother action and more appropriate for the master bus area. Then you can also have the compressor work like a feedback one. Usually in every compressor is a feed-forward design. In feed-forward, the control signal for the compressor is taken before the gain reduction unit. So as the signal enters the input stage, is split into different parts. One goes through the compression, the gain reduction unit, and is actually heard at the output. The other one goes to the control section, and it goes through the HoRNet if it's turned on, attack and release, ratio and threshold, and drives the amount of gain reduction. This is a feed-forward design. In the feedback design, the control signal is taken right before the output, so after the gain reduction unit, and this makes the compressor work on the compressed signal. So it introduces a factor of stability that makes the compressor pump less and have a more natural sound, more transparent sound. Of course, this gives you less gain reduction, and so it's a matter of compromise. I honestly prefer a feedback on the master bus, but it's a matter of taste. Then you have the sidechain here, that you can use an internal sidechain. The same signal that is listened to the output is the one that is controlling the gain reduction, or an external one if you want to create the pumping effect typical of the dance music, sidechaining an external kick to the compressor, for example. Or if you want to duck a bass track while the kick's playing, you have lots of uses. For this tutorial, for this demonstration, we will use the internal sidechain. Then you have a filter on the sidechain itself that helps you clean up the lowest frequencies. It goes up to 1 kHz, and it's useful if you want to remove the amount of kick that is used for the detection and to drive the gain reduction unit, and make the compressor more gentle. If you otherwise want the compressor to pump, just leave it to 20 Hz, so all the basses, all the kick are going through the sidechain, and the compressor will react very strong to the bass frequencies. Then you have this other button here that is a nice feature. It allows you to use 2 detectors instead of 1. Usually on a stereo compressor, to keep the stereo image centered, the sidechain is mono. So left and right channel are added together, and the resulting gain reduction is used to compress both channels of the input. With this button turned on, you get 2 different detectors, 2 different gain reduction units, and the left and right channel are treated as 2 independent mono sources. This allows you to have a wider stereo image and a more vibrant sound at the output, with let's say, sometimes it may happen that if one track, the left track or the right track, has a lot more basses than the other one, you could have 2 different level of compression from left and right, and have the stereo image that moves a little. And so if this is not an issue with your track, go ahead and unlink L and R, because you're gonna have a wider stereo image, a more interesting result. Then you have a handy tempo multiplier. If you feel that your attack and release time are not really working, and you want to try with a faster ones or a slower one, you can multiply the internal tempo, and so the attack and release time changes accordingly. We'll set it to 1 right now. Then you have the oversample. By default, it's 4 times oversample, and you have none, of course, and this is the option that uses the less amount of CPU, and 16 times. That this is the more accurate one, but it uses a lot of CPU, so it's up to you. I think 4 times is a good balance overall. Then a handy dry-wet knob here allows you to let some of the dry signal mix together with the wet one to create parallel compressions, or if you like the pumping effect, or if you like the body the compressor gives to your sound, but you don't want it to pop too much, and then you set back this knob a little, and you get the body and the attack from the original signal. With this button turned on, you get a handy help that pops up on each button or knob, and also this allows you to load some of the factory preset made by Antonio Porcelli himself, or your custom presets, and this allows you to save the preset you have. With this yellow triangle, of course, as with every plugin we make, you can resize the interface and make it the size you prefer for your screen. So now, let's hear how the compressor sound. I'll put my headphones on, and we will use this track that is not a great track, but there's a strong presence of drums, so it's a good candidate for this demonstration. First, I will play the clean track. Then I start to tweak the compressor to make the effect evident. Then I will show you some of the presets that we think gives a good idea of how the compressor should be used. So just from this quick demo, you heard that the compressor gives a more solid sound and increases the sense of rhythm in the track. I have used the compressor, the set threshold and ratio, and I decided from quick test that the best attack for this track is 1/16 because I want to make the kick breathe a little, and I want a fast release time because I want to be able to let the next kick come through fully through the compressor. Then I have tested some variation using the tempo multiplier, and I found that slowing the attack and release time gave me a more interesting sound without having the compressor to pump too much. So this is one of the usage, but we think that using one of these presets is a good starting point to get a natural sounding sound and having the compressor work to improve your track. So we will try the master bus feedback with 7 dBs of gain reduction preset here. And as you have seen, we have unlink LR because it gives us a more interesting result. We have a sidechain filter to let the kick have a less impact on our compression, and we have the feedback mode, a pretty fast time attack and release because the feedback relax itself the sound, the effect of the compressor. So let's hear in loop this time so we can try different settings. Okay, of all the presets we've tested, this last one is the one I prefer because we can have a very nice compressed sound and without having too much pumping and having a nice final result. Have you heard how when I engage the compressor, the sound gets more compact, more organic, and it definitely sounds better. So this compressor is a HoRNet SyncPressor and is available right now on our website www.hornetplugins.com. You can go on the website, download the demo if you want and try it out for yourself. Then if you have any question or any suggestion, feel free to write us. Thank you very much for watching this video.